Welcome everyone to Unbreak Your Docs. I'm Sarah from Cerebras, and I'm here with Paul from Browserbase.
Today, we're going to learn how to upkeep and automate your docs using Cerebras and Browserbase.
By the end of this workshop, you'll know how to leverage browser automation and lightning-fast LLMs to quality assure your docs. Here's what we're walking away with today. First, free API credits for both Cerebras and Browserbase, so you can continue developing after this workshop ends. Second, a working collab demo that you can use to unbreak your docs every day. And third, your very own browser automation agent. You'll have a working system that's much faster than manual QA.
Let's start with the tools we'll be using. Browserbase is a headless browser. It's functionally identical to a web browser you use on your machine, but it can run on the server. This is great because it gives the AI the ability to use the browser just like you would to do work online for you. It can click buttons, navigate, Google things, fill in forms, really anything that you can do. Today, we'll be using Stagehand, a framework made by us at Browserbase that allows your agent to control the browser. We expose all the possible actions in the browser as tools that the model can take. And you can use this with any model, but of course, Cerebras is the best combination of speed and smarts.
Now let's talk about speed, because it's the other half of what makes this work. People have been using AI for documentation since 2022. The problem is that LLMs are slow and documentation is verbose and dense. At 50 tokens per second, scanning a full doc site could take hours. Cerebras changes that equation. GPT-OSS 120B served on Cerebras wafers runs at 3,000 tokens per second. That's 15 times faster. Any automation should be faster than doing the task manually. Cerebras is able to serve LLMs at speeds 15 times faster than anyone else right now. The lineup of models we serve are intelligent and capable of multilingual reading, complex tool calls, and large-scale data analysis. Browser automation is just one of the use cases enabled by Cerebras specialized hardware. All right, let's get started with the code.
Can't wait.
First, we need to set up our environment. You'll need a Cerebras API key, a Browserbase API key and project ID, and optionally a GitHub repo URL and branch. A link to the documentation you want to scan, and that's it. There's also some configurations to set. So in this case, Cerebras model, we're gonna use GPT-OSS as it's accurate and cost-effective. We're gonna set max pages and max depth, which is how far do you want your agent to crawl. So go ahead and start setting all of this up now. While your environment installs, let's talk about why this matters.
Before AI, QA documentation review was entirely manual. Someone would read through the docs page by page, checking for accuracy, and spending a considerable amount of time keeping everything up to date.
If AI agents are using your repo, every piece of documentation affects the quality of their LLM's output. Better docs means better agents. So it makes sense why outdated, incorrect, and broken documentation are such a prevalent problem. It's all because of time. The larger your project, the more docs you have to write, the more deliberate you have to be when making edits to them. The traditional review process looks like this. Someone flips through pages one at a time, checking grammar, style, correctness, and logistics like link targets and paragraph order. They compare code to what's stated in the docs, compile everything into a report, then validate which issues actually need fixing. Done consistently, this takes around 10 hours a week.
The breakthrough in the last year is that agents are now reliable. They can consistently use tools over long periods of time to accomplish a task. Just 1 year ago, no model could reliably use a browser for anything complex. Now they can manage calendars, emails, review content spread across dozens of pages. That reliability is what makes this workshop possible. So what do we mean when we talk about computer use agents? Well, AI models can generate text in response to some form of input, and that might be images, screenshots, text, JSON, or even HTML. Models can generate structured text like this. On its own, that output is just text. It doesn't really do anything. But that's where an agent harness comes in. A harness is a runtime that sits around a model. It reads the model's structured output and executes the corresponding action in the real world, captures the result, and feeds it back to the model. Stagehand is one such harness for building web agents. When the model outputs a click call, Browserbase actually clicks that button in a real browser and returns what happens next. This is a tool call, and that's what agents do best. An agent is an AI model in a harness with a goal, running in a loop which it will stay in until it accomplishes its goal. For example, GPT-OSS using the Browserbase harness trying to fill out and submit this form. So that's breakthrough number one. Computer use agents can act like a human. This is what it looks like in practice with Stagehand and Browserbase. When our agent wants to interact with a page, it sends a prompt through Stagehand's API. Stagehand handles everything a human would do instinctively, finding the right element, scrolling into view, checking that nothing's blocking it, and then clicking it with automatic retries if something goes wrong. Our agent doesn't need to know anything about the page's HTML. It just says what it wants to do, and Stagehand translates that into reliable browser actions. That's what lets us offload the tedious parts of doc review, clicking through pages, following links, reading content, onto an agent that can do it just like you would, but without getting tired or losing focus. On its own, this cuts the manual work at least in half.
Now, let's discuss breakthrough number 2. It's the hardware that makes this fast. The Cerebras waiver skill engine is purpose-built AI hardware, an entire wafer-sized chip designed for inference. That's what lets us serve models at thousands of tokens per second. Browser automation has existed for a long time, but previous approaches were either brittle scripts that broke whenever a page changed, or smart AI-driven agents that were too slow to be practical. Cerebras eliminates that trade-off. With Cerebras, your agent is both adaptive and fast, 15 times faster than any other inference provider. That's what turns browser automation from a cool demo into something you'd actually run in production. Back to building. Our next step is to create a data model. Here, we define 3 classes: an issue class, a link results class, and a page results class. As our agent navigates through the docs, it stores every page visited and every issue found using these classes. Now, we create a queue of all the pages to visit, their links, and any issues found along the way. Browserbase will loop over pages until it either visits the whole site or hits your configured maximum depth. It stores the results and passes them to the next step.
For deeper verification, we use LangChain to compare our live docs against the GitHub repo. This lets you compare your writing to a known good source to find areas of improvement, or check whether your docs are adequately explaining your product correctly, or even identify what new products need to be written. In our example, we'll pull the exact GitHub file and line numbers to understand where the agent finds mismatches within your docs.
Here's where we speed the whole pipeline up. GPT OSS 120B on the Cerebras waiver runs at 3,000 tokens per second. Once we added it to our pipeline, QA times dropped from over 10 minutes to just 52 seconds. Once the review is complete, the agent generates a full actionable report, not just what's broken, but where and why, with suggested fixes. It reached reporting accuracy of 85% plus, and you can customize your prompt and issue descriptions to capture whatever problems matter to you. The entire pipeline runs in under a minute, work that would have taken a developer hours.
And here's the best part. You don't need to think about where you're gonna run this. Your docs agent can run automatically every 24 hours as a pre-commit hook, or as part of your CI. Over time, you can go from automating the reporting to automating the fixes themselves. It's all just a few minutes away. Here's the output when you run the collab. We chose an old open source repo with outdated docs, but still being used by many developers. In 52 seconds, we scanned over 30 pages and found 43 issues. These are broken links, coded docs mismatches, broken code snippets, typos, and more.
I hope this inspired you to unbreak your docs. Please follow the QR code for your free credits. Thank you for working on this with us, Paul, and hopefully we can do another workshop soon.
Yeah, it was a pleasure being here. Thanks for having me, guys.